And my friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you. I know I am just one before the lunch and you, and it has been a very delayed conference, so my apologies, I will be as short as I can be. However, there are a few things which interest me when I was looking at this topic, that's what works. And I think the first question which came to my mind is what works for whom? And what was the objective? What works with the objective is that, yes, we have now tariffs which are falling down. So we have made renewable energy as a number game. Some can say that. What works is that we have a very, very impressive target for this country which government is supporting. And that's another number which we talk about, but yes, it's a target. However, what we also need to do is, what were we looking for that when we say that what has worked? What has worked in solar industry is with my friends on the dais and otherwise, and some of us who are supporting this cause. We have now the grid parities. Every time you heard of numbers, Dr. Tripathi was here before that, and he also gives his point of view of why solar and low tariffs and low numbers and low cost of power is so critical for this country. I completely echo his point. But I think it is also important to see that when we are saying what works, then there is around 232 million people in this country who were without any source of power. And then renewable, whether it is wind or especially solar from where I come from, has certain solutions which can give them power. Mr. Tripathi gives one example, but there are so many examples which we talk about. Dipali spoke about the grids, mini grids. Yes, it is possible. Some of us has attempted it too. But what are we working out today, if you ask me, is the grid tariffs. What are we working out today is to produce power from renewable, which is very important for this country and for this universe. But at the end of the day, are we missing the major points of certain objectives, which also should have been seen in the overall picture which we are talking about for this country specific. And the Murphy laws has not allowed us, outsiders, to come in, so I can be more candid about it, that we still have 400 million people who have very erratic grid. Are we talking about, and Dr. Agnihotri spoke about the storage solutions, are we investing in the storage solutions so that this solar power coupled with the storage solutions can bring a source of power which is sustainable for the people which we intend to serve? Or we are too much on the number game? I think that's another question. I also come from a manufacturing industry, so I would like to share with you that we have two models. If you look back, especially the students who are here, I'd like to look at it as a case study, that there is a model of automobile industry in this country. In mid-90s, when this country thought about bringing in automobiles, the intent was, and the policy was, to make the automobiles in India. Don't go for import. Successful model in 2016, if you look back. Another model is the telecom model, which has also worked phenomenally well in this country. Don't look at the manufacturing part of it. Look at what is least cost option. Give consumer the rights, volume will increase, industry will work around. Another model to work on this industry. I think the policy makers, some of who are missing, but Mr. Rajdan has played a very important role. Dr. Agnihotri has played a very important role in that. Has to view which model was best for at least solar. Are we talking about solar, which is 175 gigawatt, or renewable, which is 175 gigawatt, and solar, which is 100 out of it, has to grow in a sustainable level? Then what do we have to do? Do we have to look for imports where someone sneezes, and today the tariffs are lower because some part of this world produces most of the equipments at a cost which are low, and tomorrow it goes up, everything goes up because of our dependence is so high? Or we have a very sustainable renewable power which can be manufactured here, which provides the employability, and it's a fact of life that renewable, solar or wind, for that matter, provide the maximum employabilities among all the other segments which we talk of power per se. I think it is very important for us to view on that factor too. Another thing which is very critical is on the technology part, which was touched upon. Are we the lead adopter of technology? Are we developing technologies? Are we investing in technologies? Or we are just buying what is best suited for us under the very clear circumstances? I think that question remains with us. What are we doing about it? What's working well for us? Currently, what's working well for us is we are importing, we are financing, we are attracting. But is it a very sustainable solution is a question which I think you all know the answers. I am not the only one who is wise enough to share that answer to you. What works well is we have a target. What works well is there is a huge amount of motivation here. What works well is that we as a country, all of us, the intelligentials and the people who have supported on this cause, are working for a solution. What works well is the tariffs at the grid level has been now competing by the renewable energy, which was not the case there. But having said that, what is required to work is even at a grid level, are we investing enough? By source, it's an infirm power. We are talking to early in that phase and feeling very successful about it. We have to work towards it. We have to work towards that 300 million people. Recently, they were numbered as 232 million who are without any source of power, and this mini-grid solutions, the storage solutions which can give them a source of power, can work for it. We have hundreds of examples of them to work towards it. I think it is very critical for each one of us to work towards that area where we invest in technologies, where we invest in R&Ds which are best suited for this country and the objective which we intend to achieve there as such. I think it is very critical that we also invest in what quality we are bringing for this renewable energy, and is that quality is sufficient enough for the guarantees which we are providing in our Excel sheet for next 25 years of source of power. So I think from my perspective, I echo Parag's, I echo everyone's views that a lot of things have worked out there, but I think it is also a time for each one of us to look back and see for our overall objective what we really need to take it forward and what will achieve that target of 2030 and more on for the students who are here and the next generation. Thank you.